welcome everybody to another installment of Golden Gooner TV. Before we get started, I just want to thank everybody that subscribed, liked, commented, and shared. Please keep it up. Let's get to 100 subscribers. We're doing well. So please, and thank you to everybody for your support so far. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2. I honestly just feeling so disappointed. I think that was the worst performance of the season. I think in a game of this magnitude, and with us being in really good form, this is the last performance I expected us to produce. I think there were poor performances all around the pitch. There were players that just look so off it. I think Arteta's team selection, his changes were poor. His changes were late. I just think Tottenham looked way more organized than us. They looked way more fun enough, assured, and they looked way more, up for it, which is really disappointing for me. I don't mind, if we get a draw and, it's both teams have went for it and it's crazy. But we didn't even give 50% in my opinion. I think we were that poor and that lackluster. So there's a lot that we'll discuss in this video. But yeah, I just thought I'd start off just giving my thoughts on the overall game and, how I felt and how I'm still feeling. I think that it's 2 points dropped, and dropping 2 points and you're trying to compete with teams like Liverpool and City is just, it really is that telling. You can lose the league, get 90 points and still lose by 2 points. It can be that close. So room for margin for error is very small, and we've started to, looking at the Fulham game against Spurs, dropping unnecessary points, especially at home. It's a different story if you go away from home against Spurs and you grind out a 2-2 draw. That's looked at as a good point at least. But this for me just feels like 2 points dropped. So yeah, and look, game is done, nothing we can really change now, but I was very, very disappointed. I did not expect Arsenal to put in this level of performance. Now we have to speak about Arteta's team selection. Look, on the team sheet, it didn't look too bad, with Nketiah up front, Jesus on the left, Vieira coming in as the left-sided 8, and Raya and goal. I think there was no real issues with me for that. I didn't really find myself too disappointed or confused at that lineup. But what I will say though is that Arteta got his changes wrong. I think his changes were late. I think, obviously, yes, there might have been injuries. He said that, Declan Rice felt something in his back, so he decided to take him off. But I don't feel like taking off Vieira was the right choice. I think he could have taken off Nketiah, put Havertz as the 9, left Vieira as the left 8, and left Jesus on the left. I think that would have given us a lot more balance. I think Eddie wasn't giving us an out ball. He wasn't linking up the play. I think Havertz could have maybe given that to us in the second half. And I think Arteta's got to take a lot of blame for today's performance from my side. I think, yes, the players definitely should be up for the game. But I think Arteta didn't make the proactive changes, in order to get us the result. Look, if Rice picks up an injury, Jorginho is the natural replacement. Can Arteta do anything about Jorginho making that mistake? No, that's all on the player. But from there, I think that Zinchenko looked tired. Should have brought on Tomiyasu. Odegaard was ghosting. Could have brought on Smith Rowe. Nketiah was poor. Should have left him, taken him off and left on Jesus. I just think Arteta made some very weird changes. And it's not like we have a Champions League game midweek. We've got a Carabao Cup game where you're going to rotate anyway. So why give Eddie 90 minutes today when you're probably going to have to give him 90 minutes again on Wednesday against Brentford? So I just don't get Arteta and some of the changes he did and the tactical approach. I think we looked weak in midfield, which is so strange. I think, like I said, I think taking out Vieira lost us a bit of control, in that side. I think, I didn't expect Jorginho to come in and have such a poor performance. That's the worst I've seen him play in an Arsenal shirt. And then bringing on Smith Rowe with 4 minutes to go, I think is really disrespectful. And you only brought him on because Saka picked up an injury. And for me, that was not the reason to bring on Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe could have really affected this game had you brought him on 15 minutes earlier. The next thing I'd like to speak about is Spurs. I think Spurs played very well. I think their game plan worked. I think they frustrated us when they needed to. They were good in position when they needed to be, and they scored when they needed to score. Yes, they might have scored off a mistake that we made, but at the end of the day, that was them and their tactic to press us, and they didn't press us relentlessly, but they pressed us in good moments, and I think that, yes, you can clearly see there's a huge improvement in Spurs, and they made it difficult for us today. They really were calculated in their approach. They will look more up for it, and I got to credit Ange Postecoglou. I think that he really came with a good game plan. He outfoxed Arteta. I think Arteta tried to be a bit too clever. But yeah, Spurs deserved at least a point. In the balance of things, maybe Arsenal can say that I don't think Spurs had that many chances to clear-cut score besides Brennan Johnson's one, and then I think he had another one where Raya saved as well, not the exceptional save, the one after that before they scored. And then that was about it. And then, Arsenal had the Jesus chance. Well, the two chances Jesus had the one that Vicario saved and the one that he blazes over the bar. So on the balance of play, I think it draws fair. But in terms of control, I think Spurs maybe think or feel that they could have possibly walked away with 3 points, where I feel like, I wouldn't say we were lucky to get a point, but I don't think we deserve 3. I think we deserve the draw at least, But if we had lost, would I have been disappointed? No. Not because I'm not disappointed when we lose, but I wouldn't have been disappointed because the performance was not worthy of us winning the game. So I think a point, and yes, we have to move. A couple of concerning things for me is that I just feel like Arteta doesn't really have a plan B, doesn't really know what to do, or he's not too sure how to really change the game. Like the subs are quite predictable. For example, he'll probably make a change on the left wing, or he'll probably make a change in the midfield, or, it's like, okay, I would have maybe liked to see him be a bit more bold and, for example, take off Odegaard, who for me personally didn't have a great game. Throw on Smith Rowe. Yes, Odegaard is your captain, but there should be no bias to any players. I think look at the Rambo situation. Yes, they are important players, but if a player is not performing and Arteta is true to his word, then he needs to remove those players. I think Odegaard was poor today. Zinchenko wasn't as up to his usual standard. I think he faded after about 60 minutes. And look, I don't expect Zini at this moment in time to get 90 minutes. He's just coming back from an injury. So, Arteta should also know the type of players that he has available to him. I think Nketiah, like I said, was poor, but Arteta persisted with him for 90 minutes. I don't know how Eddie walks out today with 90 minutes in his pocket. I don't think he gave us anything. I don't even think he had a shot. So, just from that perspective, I think that's what's concerning to me, is that Arteta is being stubborn, in some of the change that he makes. He's like, there's no reason why Smith Rowe should only get 6 minutes, yet on a player like Nketiah, who's performing badly on the day, is getting 90. I don't understand how he justifies or quantifies how he gives out minutes, because I looked at it, I think Smith Rowe and Nelson were good 2 impact players on Wednesday. So why not put them on together again? Tomiyasu looked good when he came on Wednesday. I don't know why he didn't come on. You could have put Havertz up front, just given some sort of out ball or just tried something different. But Arteta did the same thing, and obviously there are times where it works, but there's times like today where it's not working and we just don't seem to have another plan. So look, I'm not here to bash Eddie, but this is the first time that I've actually looked at him today and said, wow, I don't know if this guy's up to the standard to play for Arsenal. Look, I personally like Eddie. I like that he's a Hale-end graduate. I think that he loves the club. He always, gives his best, but it's just, I don't know if he has the levels to take us where we want to go. And look, I'm all for wanting to be proved wrong. If Eddie can come and turn this around and be an Arsenal legend, you know what, I will not be upset about that. But from what I'm seeing in the reality of it, especially today, just showed me that I think Eddie he's a top half team striker, probably from a team from, let's say, 7th to 10th. I think that's where Eddie would find himself doing well. I think for Arsenal, I think if we want to be serious and win trophies, we need to then look for that next level of striker, just to complement or to change it from Jesus. I think Jesus, I don't have a problem with him starting, but imagine in this game, Jesus is maybe not working up front, or starting Jesus and Tony. I think that there's something different there. Tony can give you something different. That's why I also wanted to see Havertz go up front, just as a different way of playing. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. And yeah, those are some of my concerns. I think that Arteta's stubbornness to make certain changes, and I just think that came back to bite him today. I think that he just got it wrong today. Look, it's not all doom and gloom, so I'm not here to be Mr. Oh my goodness, it's just over, this is the worst team, and no, I'm not going to do that. There were some good performances today. I think Raya had a good game. Kicking was a bit wayward, but I also think as a team we weren't moving like we normally move, so he didn't really have an outball, so he couldn't really play that fluid type of football that he wants to as a goalkeeper, playing out from the back. I think our centre backs were very good. I think Saliba and Gabriel was solid. I think, if you look at the goal, maybe Son's first goal, you think to yourself, there's like 3 Arsenal players there, like how does Son get in? Look, yes, that's maybe a concern there. But overall, I think they stopped Spurs from having any real chances. I think White had a good game. I don't remember him getting or looking too exposed. He made some good interventions there. He made some good runs. So had some good crosses. White had a solid performance. And then I look further forward, I think Jesus, for me, had a really good game until he came off. I just think that he wasn't given the time in the game to effect it as much as he could. I think him playing out wide, yes, it's okay, he can do it, but I want to see Jesus in the middle. I think him playing in the middle, he's dangerous at the, in that area. That's where he can win fouls, break through. From the left, it's a bit more tricky. And honestly speaking, I know Saka might have been involved with the 2 goals, but I don't think he was great. So for me, honestly, the players that I think my standouts personally were Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Jesus. Generally, I think those are the only 5 players that can at least walk out of there saying, okay, I did something. I think everybody else for me was not on the levels that I expect from them. I think, there needs to be some shuffling from Arteta. I think he needs to make his changes earlier. But yeah, from that, I just want to give those specific players a shout out and say, you know what, I saw their efforts today. And, if I think the team could just have had half their efforts, I think we could have won this game. I think we lost this game, we drew this game. It feels like a loss purely for how I feel, or how I see it, is from a lack of passion and wanting it. I think we got what we deserve because that's what we put in. We put in enough to only deserve a draw, and that's what we got. Just to conclude, guys, it's not all doom and gloom for Arsenal. I think that, improvements are needed. I think as a team, we need to go and digest that performance. As a theatre and the coaching staff need to go to the drawing board and, revise their plans and see how we can be better prepared for our next upcoming game for the international break. I fully expect us to perform better against Brentford and against Bournemouth, and then in that last week before the international break with the Champions League game and the game against City, we can ill afford to lose both, or we cannot drop points in either game. I refuse that. I don't think that will be acceptable. I think that is not the standard that Arteta and the team have set. So yes, but guys, just from me, Shannon, I just want to thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell for the next video, and then I will see you guys next time.